here at Penn State Harrisburg, over 5,000 students attend college here, and a little over 400 of them live on campus.
Pollution is caused by adding harmful chemicals into the environment because of what we do in our everyday lives.
What would you identify as our biggest source of waste on campus?
So I would definitely say water. Like I said, students stress showering. I think that it is really easy to wait until the water gets super hot to get in the shower. I know sometimes no one wants to take a cold shower, but taking advantage of the fact that we aren't paying for it. When I look at what the actual charges are for how much we're paying for water and how much we're paying for electricity and natural gas, it astounds me, because I think, man, if these students were getting like these bills, would it change the way that they would consume all of these things?
The biggest source of waste are actually classrooms. Classrooms set vacant, but yet people leave windows open and the heat comes on. The heat's running, the windows are open. In the summer, they open the windows and the air conditioning is running. That's my single biggest pet peeve on this campus is the amount of energy that we waste due to people just, I don't want to say it's not caring, but not being responsible for their own actions. I guess that's my my pet peeve is, everybody's responsible for so many different things that could help the campus save energy. Turning things off, not opening windows when you don't need them to be, closing them when you're done. They could save monumental amounts of energy on this campus that way.
What changes would you make to help the campus become more sustainable?
Oh, I would love to see some better recycling bins in stacks, where potentially we also would have composting options for students, because I feel like we also have lots of food waste that occurs. So wanting to make sure that
one of the big uses of one of the biggest things for us sustainably is the use and reuse of electricity. So the campus uses 1.75 meg of electricity, and there's numerous ways that we can reduce our electricity, and there's also numerous ways that we could work to produce our own electricity. The problem that we're suffering with now is our electricity is actually too cheap. We need the price of electricity to actually climb another penny, and then a lot of the paybacks for electricity savings become practical from a campus funding standpoint. But we envision that happening before long, and as our consumption goes up, we'll be able to initiate some of those measures. But energy savings is probably our biggest hurdle right now, with getting through lighting upgrades and getting people to understand to turn off electronics, turn off equipment when they're not being used, and don't have excessive things plugged into electricity.
Through your time working here, have you seen changes made to the campus to make it more sustainable?
So I would say yes. I'm in my 5th year here. So we have made some small changes over time, including, having more recycling bins throughout Olmsted, going to single stream recycling here in the residential area. I think that there are still places that we could improve upon, but there have been small improvements overall over the course of my 5 years here.
I've seen drastic changes. I started here 10 years ago, almost a week ago, 10 years. This campus has gone from not necessarily being a sustainable nightmare, but going from our energy usage, we went from being one of the worst consumers to now being the leader among our peers, our size in our district. Everybody kind of bases our measurements off of here. Our waste recycling programs have been initiated. Our scrap metal recycling has been initiated. Other types of sustainable measures involving our grounds departments have been initiated with new leadership coming in. The students have really embraced, and the staff has really embraced, the idea of sustainability across the campus.
are you trying to make an impact saving energy and water on the campus?
So I think that overall, yes, in terms of a personal level, I am. So one of the interesting things is, as part of my job, I live on campus in Juniata, and when all the students are gone, it takes forever for my hot water to get hot, even though I'm on the first floor. So I have, talked with housing and tried to say like, hey, can we look at, maybe putting an Insta-Hot on my line? Going in, we've considered all sorts of options, because me running the water for 20 minutes is not really that sustainable. Even though it is a more energy efficient building, I do make sure that I'm turning off lights, try to conserve energy in the community center, those sorts of things. We want to make sure that the RAs, when they leave the CC at night, they shut down, like they turn off the lights. We keep the temperature pretty steady in here, to also prevent like hazards. We don't want frozen pipes, so we do have to keep things a little warm in the winter, but we do try to make some efforts also in the office as well.
The definition of change is to make or become different. So if we change little things, everybody can change little things, so that'll make a big difference.
What could be done differently to make the challenge more effective?
So I think that, like I said before, starting earlier in the year, looking at how we can maybe bring in some, incentives from local companies. So I know that the water company does some things. I know that education is really big, so trying to educate a little bit more, almost like it would be interesting if we did like a fake bill per student, like what that would look like, and what impact that would have on them. So definitely thinking about ways that we can enhance it in the future by just making some little steps.
How long do you think it would take to see a bigger difference in the way students use their electricity and water?
Excellent question. So I think that really it starts from the beginning, trying to instill, just values in our students in terms of making sure they're shutting off their lights, not running the water for hours. I would love to, partner with a water company.
Do you think the campus as a whole is currently trying to be more sustainable?
I do. I know Bakun Kakarni, our chancellor here on the campus, has made an initiative, and it's one of my key operations metrics here for the campus, is to make the campus more sustainable, as well as the other supervisors in our department. That's part of our mission here, is to make the campus more sustainable. Matter of fact, we want to be the leaders in sustainability for the Penn State system and for other campuses.
I definitely think so. I think that when it comes to steps that we're taking, I know that our maintenance and operations are always looking at ways to make things better. So I know that, for example, in the parking lot, the Demi parking lot that we refer to it as, that typically has the large like arena light that's run on a generator, they're looking at putting solar lights in there to, one, help with the safety of our students, but then also, two, it's more sustainable, it's not hitting our electric bill as hard, those sorts of things. I think that our campus in general definitely is aware of how great of an impact sustainability can have on the community and that sort of thing. So I think that not only is the campus focusing on things, but we're also trying to figure out how we can help the local Middletown community as well.
Are you trying to make an impact on living more sustainably while on campus?
We are. The campus initiates multitude of items. Sustainability is really a practice that it's based on a couple different items. One is sustainable living, and the other one is just operations. Sustainable living in yourself is how you recycle personally, remembering to unplug electronics when you're not using them. But some of the engineering things we do are low consumption devices, energy efficient lighting controls, building automation controls. There's a numerous amount of things that go on behind the scenes that the students just aren't aware of, and frankly that's great because we don't want to interrupt the daily lifestyle, but yet at the same point we need to be a sustainable culture and sustainable operations.
What would be the best way for students to live more sustainably on campus?
I think that really it's just being aware of, are you using a refillable water bottle? Are you recycling when you're able? I know that it can be difficult in Olmsted because there's not tons of recycling containers, like especially in Stacks area. So are you taking your recyclable bottles or cans down to the one receptacle that's sort of towards the center? And are you aware of, okay, yeah, you can throw everything in the single stream, those sorts of things. So it's just about the education and making sure that folks know what we have and then where we can also go.
The best way to live sustainably, it's practice what you preach. So, make sure you're recycling things. Make sure when you leave a room you turn the lights out. Make sure you're not wasting water. Our renewable resources are they're only going to be cost effective for so long. As more people start using them, the costs are going to start going up. If you see trash, picking it up. Do things to improve your surroundings. When you're done using a charger, if it has a red LED light on it, unplug it because it's still going to use energy, no matter how much.
Take on a leave it better than you found it mentality, and you can use this throughout your entire life.
By shutting off your water and shutting off your lights when not using it, along with other simple things like that, you can reduce your environmental impact.
Through carpooling and riding bikes, we can reduce our carbon footprint.
Becoming sustainable can be achieved many ways. They don't all have to be large things, like reducing carbon footprints.
Here at Penn State and many other universities, there is